News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
A very good morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And again, lovely day out there. It's not raining or anything. There's a lot to look forward to, as always, on our beautiful island. Today, of course, Parliament will sit again, and let's see what we can expect. We've got somebody here in the studio, Mr. Keheliya Rambukwella, MP. I'm not going to say anything about minister or anything else because there's some confusion about that, but we'll ask him all about that right here. Mr. Keheliya Rambukwella, very good morning to you and welcome to Newsline.
Yes.
First time on Newsline. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here. So I'll get to the point straight away. Parliament is sitting again today. Are you going to boycott them? Are you going to be there? What's going to happen?
It's not a question of boycotting. It's a question of participation of an illegal parliament or not. And we have decided, as we decided earlier, because if it's illegal, it is illegal unless it is made legal.
Right.
We have decided to keep away, and we will keep away.
Now, why do you call it illegal?
You see, when you reconvene a parliament, or a prorogation or of a new session, there are accepted norms, practices and traditions by Parliament. And it is laid down also very clearly in the standing orders. Standing orders does not stand alone. It's a part of the Constitution which is blended into the standing orders. Now, if I may sort of bring out for you to read it and understand. This is the first day, that's the 14th. Right? What it says is the right thing. Right? Where the Parliament is convened, the Secretary General of the Parliament reads out the proclamation issued by His Excellency the President, or he himself could come, or he will read the proclamation. And then the Leader of the House was appointed, and the office was given in the Parliament to the Leader of the House. Now, in the Parliament, there were a couple of officers, Speakers of His, Deputy Speakers of His, Prime Ministers of His, Presidents of His, so much, as much as the Leader of the House. Now, the Leader of the House was named Dinesh Gunawardena. Now, Dinesh Gunawardena had his office, officially given by this Karu Jayasuriya, who's Speaker. Right? So, he also was given the same seat on that day. So, the practice should have been for him to adjourn the Parliament and fix the next date.
That's the practice.
That's the practice.
Okay.
They deviated completely from that. And they brought in something else also, and then suddenly this MP Vijita Hera runs with a chit, as if you know, and says that's a no confidence motion. Right against her. So now that, as you know, there is a procedure in which you entertain no confidence motion. We are not shy, or we prepare completely shut off no confidence motion. Bring it in the proper way. That is exactly what His Excellency the President also mentioned.
So this is the bit where the President says, come the proper way.
Absolutely. Right? And we are also prepared. We were prepared. We said that, we passed that message on. Now, say the misbehavior that we talk of the Parliament. That's what you see on the screen. But what happens behind the scenes? At the Speaker's office, where party leaders meet, where they try to sort of basically bulldoze us, two of us or three of us, who represents the SLFP3 and then the opposition, or rather joint opposition as we call it, right? They were trying to bulldoze us. They were, in fact, some of the members who are not supposed to be members walked into the Speaker's office and threatened, saying that we will even sort of that kind of thing. And he tolerated. And we came back and we sort of passed that on to our membership. And they decided this is completely illegal. And then we should not let the Parliament take place. So that's how what you see, what happened, the well of the Parliament was the one that you all saw. But what happened behind the scenes, prior to this, leading...
but nevertheless, illegal and awful to see, isn't it? Our elected, sometimes appointed as well, representatives behaving in such a way. I hear what you say. You know, you had no choice. But I'm wondering whether you had enough of choices other than to throw chili powder and break a
Well,
chair.
as I told you,
That was the frustration manifesting itself, was it?
no, look at the manner in which he conducted himself,
Yeah.
right? You come on the back door
Yeah.
with a carrying a chair,
Yes.
right? And then with about 50 police officers,
Yeah.
right? And you basically call it invade the parliament, right? And he says, by the looks of it, with the sound, I
Yeah.
see a majority. What happens for us? If the parliament was legal,
Yeah.
and the 20th Amendment, which calls for a federal constitution,
Yeah.
was brought
Yeah.
in the same manner, and says by the looks of it, when this is illegal parliament,
Yeah.
then what happens? He put the signature down,
Yeah.
and that becomes legal, and that cannot be contested even in the Supreme Court. Honorable Bandaranaike, as a speaker, gave a ruling.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So, I believe that this is something blessings in disguise. Right? Now, this is the practice I think Ranil would have taken in terms of the 20th Amendment. Right? Imagine the 20th Amendment being brought into the Parliament.
This is
Obviously, we would sort of get into the well and try to, stop it.
Yeah.
The speaker would come in the same way from the back door with the police officers.
Yeah.
And they say, hi, and all that.
Yeah.
And they say, by the looks of it, by the sound, I see the majority.
And that's it.
That's it. So we are very happy to see a rehearsal of what this the so-called speaker.
But that's a very dangerous situation.
Absolutely. And then I won't be surprised if I can't get the clip. If you want, I have the clip. Where Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister, dictated in terms to the speaker. Right?
This is the bit where he says, switch on my mic, otherwise
I'll take you out of there.
I'll take you out of there.
Yeah. So where is the independence of the speaker? So now what happens? Now this is the 14th.
Yes.
This is the 15th. Same thing.
Same thing.
16.
These are all order papers.
So they all order papers,
Yeah.
right? Then what happens? On the 29th, right, they bring an order paper.
Yeah.
On the 29th, they bring an order paper. The order paper says 148 according to 148.
Yeah.
Now 148 relates that the power vested in the parliament
Yeah.
in terms of the finance management of finance. Okay?
Right.
Now, he completely, conveniently and purposely
Yeah.
avoids the 152 of the Constitution, which says, this is brought by Navin Dissanayake, Ravi Karunanayake, Nalaka and some,
Yeah.
these are all MPs. You cannot bring a motion to curtail funds that is approved by appropriation bill or a budget
Yeah.
in this manner. It has to be a minister.
It has to be a minister.
It has to be a minister.
That's what it says in
Yes, in the Constitution.
in the Constitution.
Yeah, you know it.
Yes,
I
we
think.
read that
Yeah,
earlier,
right.
doesn't
Okay,
it?
right. So basically what happens?
Yeah.
This speaker, the so-called speaker, Karu Jayasuriya,
Yeah.
under maybe instructions of either Diaspora and Ranil combined together,
Yeah.
right, says that you bring this. We will show hands, say by the voice or by the hands or by the electronic whatever, that we see the majority and we'll get through it, which is illegal completely. That's exactly why I said right at the commencement, outset itself, this is illegal parliament, and I believe that you understand why it is illegal now. When norms, practices and traditions all being ignored, and in the way that they prefer the parliament to be convened, right, giving no whatever respect to the practices and norms and the traditions, they just set it down. So.
On Newsline, we encourage you and actively do so. Ask you to send your questions in by SMS on 0772 300 305, and it's right here into the studio. Now then, the questions have already started, and I'll take one. If the UNF shows the majority in today's vote, will MR resign gracefully?
You see, as I told you, this is an illegal parliament, so as the president.
Right.
His Excellency the President says, come in the proper manner. Why can't they do that?
So in spite of all the meetings...
You see what happens,
Yeah.
in my view. What happens, they were of the opinion that the parliament would be prorogued.
Right.
Right on that night, on the 14th.
Yeah.
So they rushed, so throughout all traditions and practices.
Yeah.
with no iota respect to the, even to the Constitution.
Yeah.
And they just want to rush through this. But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? Now they are in dilemma. They are in a position where they are fixed because they did that with the view that the parliament would be prorogued and they will not be able to take it.
Okay.
So, what happens is now they have done the wrong thing, they want to continue the wrong thing because they cannot go back.
Okay.
And then the no confidence motion that was supposed to be, the purported no confidence motion, have not given, as you say today, they say that it is showing confidence of Ranil Wickremesinghe. But still, the parliament is illegal, in an illegal parliament, whatever the motions. And that has been the position of the president. And they have just ignored that part of it, right? And completely ignored. And they just going on to just to hoodwink, just to give a different perception to the
So
public.
how does one correct this illegality? You say it's illegal according to, on the face value it appears illegal.
Yeah.
So how do you correct the situation?
Okay, they accepted the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
They accepted thereby we appointed the leader of the House. The Prime Minister's seat was given. The leader of the House, as you say, you get back to this, the 14th.
Yes, back on the phone.
Follow the order. Simple. Then what happens? Then they can bring a no confidence motion.
Yeah.
Give 5 days notice minimum. Copy of the no confidence motion will have to be circulated among. See, you see, say if you are charged with a simple theft, say for instance something in the court, what happens? You read out the charges.
Yes.
And ask whether you are guilty or not first.
Yeah.
You should say not guilty, then the charges are given to you, and a date is fixed for you to bring your counsel and to argue it why you say. Now here, did they practice that? I mean, you witnessed this. They brought a chit, and they say that this reads out that the parliament has no confidence on Honorable Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, and they say, okay, put it to vote. I mean, look at the complete distortion of a manner in which they should have done this.
So on the one side you have Ranil Wickremesinghe, who appears to be doing that for his own survival,
obviously,
as the leader of the United National Party, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to go anywhere. And on the other side, and this is a question that somebody sent to us, so irrespective of the majority, MR will continue for the sake of Namal's future. Are you sure that MS will permit, will permit this to continue where the majority is not there?
As I told you, it again revolves around a question of majority. Where majority, you can't go to Golfest and show a majority. You can't go to Sirikota. You cannot go to Temple Trees now. But nobody is talking about it.
I was going to come to you. Just beat me.
Say the speaker says no government. So there's no opposition leader. No, it's all MPs, as you rightly addressed me. Right, we are all members of parliament. Now the member of parliament, Ranil Wickremesinghe, shamelessly stays in the official residence. When there was a temporarily stay order on the Prime Minister, within 2 hours we vacated the Prime Minister's office, handed over all the vehicles very respectfully. Right? So,
but somebody is pointing out that the vote of confidence today was done as per procedures. It was placed in the order paper.
You see what happens, you make the initial mistake, you set out an illegal parliament, follow down, without correcting the...
So how do we correct it then?
That's what I say, just follow the procedure.
So, well, go back and have the proclamation again?
No, now they'll have to accept. Now, then, as you say, we are now in a situation where in fact, I would sort of put it this way. Some of the people blame that the action on the 26th of the president and action of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa on the 26th created all this situation. No. Right? It's the right. Nobody has ever challenged the appointment of the Prime Minister. It's not challenged.
Right.
We told them that if that's the case, go to courts.
Now then, let's take a short break because it's time for that break. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline. Stay right here. We're in conversation with Mr. Keheliya Rambukwella, MP.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And welcome back to Newsline. We're in conversation with Mr. Keheliya Rambukwella, MP. So tell me, now there's somebody here saying that this time round they have given all processes being followed.
No.
You say no. What should they do to get back on track?
Yeah, so let me say that. 26th, they said 26th November, they brought this mess in.
Yeah.
It's wrong, right? Because 26th, the president, the powers vested on him in accordance with the constitution,
Yeah.
he appointed the prime minister.
Yeah.
Okay. That was never challenged.
Yeah.
Never challenged.
Yeah.
Then, on the 9th, by proclamation, by a gazette notification,
Yeah.
the president dissolved the parliament. Okay?
Okay.
Why that the position of the president led to the dissolution? Because they did not adhere to the norms and practices and traditions of the parliament. The parliament,
Which is why the president
president,
resolved.
because you can't hold an illegal parliament.
Right.
Then they went to courts. They went to courts
Yeah.
on the gazette notification
Yeah.
of the dissolution.
Yeah.
2 gazette notifications,
Yeah.
fixing dates and all that.
Yeah.
Now that is what is the matter which is in courts,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Now what happened? The court temporarily stayed the gazette notification,
Yeah.
but they should have done practice this instead of running all mock in the parliament, right? So had they practiced this,
Yeah.
president wouldn't have dissolved the parliament.
Right. Is there some feeling that this president, that the way, this is the way I'm looking at it, is there some sort of feeling that Ranil thinks he's some superior being and his acolytes joining him thinks that this president doesn't know what he's doing? I mean, that's what I'm getting the feeling, that they think, oh, well, he doesn't know anything. We'll just do what we want. But he's the one who got elected.
He was elected,
Yeah.
and he's elected as the executive president.
Yeah.
This is what you practice. I'm asking anybody,
Yeah.
has he violated the constitution, right? Has he violated the constitution? In my view, no.
Right.
Right? That is what is in debate. And
Yeah.
I don't think I should go into the matters that
No,
is in
that's
the
right.
courts at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? But why is all this? Because we feel that this is constitutional.
Yeah.
Some parties challenging the constitutionality on the dissolution of the parliament.
Yeah.
We are presented ourselves with Article 33(2)(c)
Which gives the right
to
of
dissolve the parliament. 66(2), I believe,
Yeah.
right? And the 70,
Yeah.
which stands alone and which doesn't make any reference to the 33 or the 66, right?
Right. Now, obviously, there's nowhere, the fundamental premise is that the people elected the president, and under the constitution, the president has overall power. And any attempt to change that overall situation must be accompanied by a special majority in Parliament, also known as a 2/3 majority,
Absolutely.
and a referendum of the people.
Yes.
Right? Am I right so
You're
far?
absolutely right. It's what
It's
is
there.
stated here.
Right. Then, pray, why is it that when the how is it, better question is how is it that in the 19th, all of a sudden, the people of this country find that their franchise, their right to exercise the franchise, which was before you could do it after 1 year, now we have to wait 4.5 years, which in practice is more than 4.5 years, because by the time you give notice and so on, it's the same as 5 years almost, right? So now the people have to just shut up and wait. Frustration growing all the time for 5 years. Gomin Dayasiri raised this issue in the Supreme Court during the 19th Amendment sitting, and unfortunately, Chief Justice then, Sri Pavan, did not address his specific query. He was an intervening petitioner there. Now, today we appear to be paying the price of that silence.
I look at it differently. You see, the Supreme Court with a 7th judge, led by Chief Justice Sarathan Silva, in some 2002, the same thing came up.
Right.
In that bench, right? They clearly said that it should be by a special majority, which means 2/3, and by a referendum.
Right.
And they had to stall that and take it away.
Right.
That was not brought in purely because that was the instructions or the interpretation of the Supreme Court then.
Yes.
Then what happened? They wanted to bring the 19th Amendment. In President's Manifesto, page number 17, it clearly says that the presidential powers would be revisited and curtailed, not be on a point of a referendum.
Right.
Okay. Right? Now that was the manifesto of President Maithripala Sirisena. Get me clear on that?
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened? The 19th Amendment was rushed in. When the 19th Amendment was brought in, they very, I would say cunningly, right, to avoid the same situation of 2002, they brought in 33(2).
Right.
See, to show them the Supreme Court, well, there is still provision. Although we have a clause in 70 stating 4 years and 6 months. You also have, now, one could understand, as you said, one could understand if the 33(2)(c) was there in the original constitution. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
So they introduced together with the 19th Amendment. Why? Just to overcome the barrier of what happened in 2002. 2002, same judgment would have, they would have got the same interpretation. So to avoid that interpretation, they brought in 33.
So this is the virtual back door. This is the virtual back door.
One more thing. What happened, I don't think, as much as they envisaged that the parliament would be prorogued on the 14th night, there was a miscalculation, which leads to all this kind of misery in the parliament and elsewhere. Also they thought that this dissolution of a parliament will not take place with President Maithripala. So they smuggled in the 33(2)(c). Right? 62 was there, but 33 was smuggled in. Right? But with this, the Gazette notification on the 9th, resolved in Parliament, all the lawyers, everybody went through the whole thing and they found this. Right? And now that is before courts, very clearly. Right? So,
not only that, but they also tried, if you recall, during the run-up to taking a vote on the 19th, they tried to control
interrupt you, 134 clauses were taken off.
Yes, and I think amongst them was an attempt to control the media, and Kapil Maharaja went to court, and we have spent our chairman's money and the group's money, and we've protected the future of the independence of the media.
Thank you.
You know, and that's what we did.
That's exactly the responsibility of the public as well. I'm very appreciative of what you. That's a responsibility. It's just don't leave it to the politicians.
No.
Right.
Exactly.
It's just that the public also, if they're getting affected, they should have. Right. I made a confusion because the 19th Amendment, it was rushed through, and we really did not go through it the manner in which we should have. Right. And that resulted also part of this blame we must take it for not doing that. Right?
Now, taking into account, and we're in our last 4 or 5 minutes now, taking into account the current political situation, who do you think will compete at the next presidential election?
Well, I'm unable to say that because you know, 1 week is a long time in politics.
Right, but now I see, let's get a little bit more current. Petition challenges Ranil's MP role, MPship. He's a shareholder of a PLC, according to the Daily News, which is the government arm, right? Anyway, what do you say about that?
Well, there was a similar decision against Dr. Rajitha Senaratne.
That's right.
Right? And he was reseated. And again, Ranil Wickremesinghe brought him in the back door, from the back door,
Well, that's the whole point. Our campaign, the News First campaign, of the Think campaign, asking people to think before they exercise their vote, had some success because various people lost out and were not elected by the people. And sadly for the people actually, lots of people who were defeated came back in through the back door, also known as the National List. But Ranil Wickremesinghe has been there 40 years as in Parliament, 24 as the leader of the United National Party, and at least 25 defeats. But also, before all the UNPs start phoning here, we know he's also fourth time round Prime Minister. So, foxy, cunning, brain box, what is it? How has he survived?
Well, it's a internal party matter,
yeah,
right? An internal party. This is what I say. They are talking about democracy.
But you have some right because you were there before.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that was one of the reasons for us to get out. That we found that there is no internal democracy,
yeah,
whatever you preach.
Yeah.
And this happened somewhere in, I think, 2001, if I remember right, in the assembly in Katharagama, where they had changed the entire constitution of the party UNP then. And general thing is that somebody reads out the proposal and then somebody seconds it and then you say, okay, then you just, by practice, you, as much as what happened to the 19th Amendment. So there is, he has made enough and more,
yeah,
brought in regulations and the kind of introduced certain new clauses to the party constitution,
yeah,
where he will never be changed. And I'm sure there are quite a number in the UNP must be praying that this will take place. That's the only way.
Well, somebody's pointing out that 91 IE or 91E is the relevant part of the Constitution,
yes,
that precludes that is the case with Ranil's MPship being now questioned.
Absolutely, yes.
So where's the democracy? Mr. Wickremesinghe is very fond of talking about the Westminster-style democracy.
Yeah, what is the democracy when you have postponed the elections for 2.5 years, the local government elections? The very fundamental pillars of democracy is having elections at the due period,
yeah,
and the due process to be practiced.
Yeah.
Right? All has been thrown into the dustbin by this so-called champion of democracy. Very fundamental, very fundamental, right, is holding elections. They are now I remember at one stage when it came to the provincial elections of the North,
yeah,
when this was discussed, I remember Rajitha saying that I don't think we should have the elections, probably we might not win. What Mahinda Rajapaksa, then the president, said, what are you talking? It's not probably we are going to lose it. But they never had the opportunity for 30 years to exercise their franchise. It's nothing but right for us to give them the opportunity. Right? We have now got rid of Prabhakaran. Now we have to bring in democracy into the system. And one way, and the most effective way to bring democracy, is to hold elections at the proper time. And then he had the election. Today what happens? Leave alone, they have just left alone the 13th Amendment, which empowered the provincial council system. They have just thrown that into the dustbin. Ranil Wickremesinghe, the so-called Democrat, throws away the democratic process into the dustbin and postpone even the northern elections, the little hope that they had on the 13th. I'm surprised how the TNE is reacting to it.
Well, I had a reaction from the head of the law faculty at the University of Jaffna, and he said that the changes done by under Ranil Wickremesinghe in terms of the issues up there were cosmetic at best. They were only cosmetic changes. But, Kelly Rambukwella, we have run out of time, and thank you very much for having been on Newsline. We appreciate
He's a champion of cosmetic changes. And in the face of the public, you see, but it will take a little time to realize these are absolute cosmetic.
But then, you know, powder alters faces.
Of course, yes.
Like
you call it, it's a powder bubble.
Cases.
Right? It's a powder pack that can get destroyed, and that's exactly what's happening now. Not only is destroying the himself, but he's destroying the democracy, he's destroying the speaker's responsibility, he's destroying the democracy that should prevail within the parliament, and he's destroying the minds of the people and leaving the Supreme Court at large to fix them.
Well, he can try, but with the broadcasting arm of the Capital Maharaja Group, with News First on this side, it's going to be pretty tough, because come what may, you're kind of stuck with us, and we will continue doing what we do best, getting to the truth. On that note, thank you very much. Have an excellent day ahead of you. Take care, and God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.